Doctor, would you agree with this statement that I'm about to give you? Defendant's counsel, objection. The court, are you reading from that book? Is that it? Plaintiff's counsel, I'm reading, but I am just asking if she agrees with it. The court, I understand that, but you are reading from some book, aren't you? Plaintiff's counsel, correct. The court, okay, go ahead. Defendant's counsel, objection. The court, okay, overruled at this point. Doctor, would you agree with this statement? Uncontrolled diabetes affects infection, and infection adversely affects diabetes. The basic rules in treating any foot infection are absolute bed rest. Would you agree with that? Defendant's counsel, objection. The court, objection sustained. You just don't consider that particular question in your deliberation in the jury room because you will be getting an instruction that questions that are not answered may not be included in your deliberations. Very well. Doctor, would you agree that absolute bed rest is absolute and appropriate when there is an infection of a diabetic foot? It depends. Does it depend upon the severity of the infection? Yes, it can. An absolute bed rest is not a ridiculous thing to order, correct? No, it's not ridiculous. Okay, doctor, you're familiar with the term offloading? Yes. And basically offloading is a situation or a procedure in which you try to relieve the pressure on a foot? Right. In order to allow the wound to properly heal, correct? True. And some of the things that can be done with regard to offloading could include putting braces on the leg, correct? True. Crutches? True. Wheelchairs? In cases where you want to keep them absolutely off their feet, yes. You can order a wheelchair for them to get around, correct? True. Now, doctor, you did not order any of these things or prescribe any of these things for Mr. Sprain, correct? No, I didn't order the wheelchair, no. Or crutches? Well, did you order crutches? I wouldn't want to put... Mr. Shane is a big guy. I didn't want to consider that. I wanted to have things that were practical, of practicality. So, no, I didn't. You didn't order crutches? How about a cane? A big guy can walk around with a cane, right? Yes, a cane is a way of offloading, is it not? Not really. Well, it's better than just walking flat on the foot, is it not? Flat on the foot without a pressure-relying shoe, yes. Well, would there be any problem with using a pressure relief shoe and a cane? No, that would be considerable. Now, doctor, do you recall that textbook that we talked about earlier, Diabetic Foot Disorders? Defendant's counsel, objection. The court overruled. Does she recall it? Plaintiff's counsel, yes. Defendant's counsel, I think there's already been questioning on that textbook of this doctor. Plaintiff's counsel, I can ask other questions about it, Your Honor. Defendant's counsel, well, if the doctor doesn't acknowledge it, then I don't believe you can, no. The court, well, if the answer to the questions, are you familiar with it, or no, that ends it. Defendant's counsel, okay. The court, but if it's yes, then some questions might be asked. I believe you indicated earlier that you were familiar with that textbook, correct? Yes. Okay, doctor, do you recall ever seeing charts in that book? Defendant's counsel, objection. The court, well, have you finished the question? Plaintiff's counsel, no, I did not. The court, finished the question. Do you recall ever seeing a chart in that book which was created in order to aid the psychiatrist in proper treatment of the foot? The court, objection sustained. Doctor, would you agree that in the absence of pedal pulses, non-invasive testing is appropriate? Defendant's counsel, objection, Your Honor. Something being read from, or is this just a general question? Plaintiff's counsel, just a generic question. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry. In the absence of any pedal pulses, would non-invasive testing be appropriate under the circumstances? Yes. It would? Yes, it would. Doctor, under what circumstances would patients with absent pedal pulses that you were seeing, would it be appropriate to order non-invasive testing, vascular testing, if I didn't know anything about the patient prior? A patient coming into you for the first time, just tell us just what circumstances it would be. I would order those tests if there were absent pulses or signs of not good circulation. Was Mr. Shane such a patient that you never had seen before? He was. You had no information about him whatsoever? No. We had information about Mr. Shane. We had information from his vascular doctor. Was there any doubt in your mind on July 23rd, when you were with Dr. Riley and Dr. Shane, that he had distal vascular disease? Plaintiff's counsel, I'm going to object. It's a leading question. The court overruled. It was made known to us from Dr. Cohen that Mr. Shane had distal vascular disease. Is that information, doctor, documented? The patient's medical chart reflects that he had distal vascular disease? Yes, peripheral vascular disease, distal vascular disease. Is it documented in the patient's chart? Yes. And why is it documented in the chart? It's documented because it gives us information about the patient's vascular status. Now, according to the record, Dr. Riley charted that the patient had absent hair, atrophic shortly, but at the moment she would prefer to sit outside. Yes. Now, when you were previously providing money transfer services through National Money Exchange, what, if any, towns did you service? Mostly upstate. Any others besides Albany? No, maybe one or two transfers in the past to another city because my clients decided to make the money transfer. I wanted the traffic for insurance. Anybody who transfers will see that I have insurance to sell as a broker.
So I think we're both gonna